I need to tell you about the day I realized everyone I trusted had been lying to me, about how working from home exposed a secret my entire family had been keeping, about how betrayal doesn't just come from the person who cheats, but from everyone who helps them hide it. But first, I need to tell you about my family so you understand why this hurts so much more than a normal affair. My name is Taylor and I'm 28 years old. I have one sister, Morgan, who's 32. We grew up close, or at least I thought we'd. She was my big sister, my protector, my best friend. When we were kids, she'd defend me from bullies. When we were teenagers, she'd cover for me when I snuck out. When I went through a bad breakup in college, she let me cry on her couch for days. She was my person. Morgan got married when she was 25 to a guy named Brad. They had 2 kids, both boys, now ages 5 and 3. They lived in a nice house in our hometown, about 3 blocks from where we grew up. I loved being an aunt. I'd babysit the kids, go to their birthday parties, spend holidays with Morgan's family. I met my fiancé Kyle 2 years ago through mutual friends. He was 29, worked in sales, and was charming and funny and ambitious. We clicked immediately. Within 6 months, we were serious. Within a year, he proposed. We set a wedding date for this coming September, about 8 months away from when this all happened. Kyle and Morgan got along great from the start. She welcomed him into the family immediately. They'd joke around at family dinners, talk about sports, bond over their shared love of terrible action movies. I was happy they liked each other. I wanted my sister to approve of the man I was marrying. Kyle would sometimes stop by Morgan's house to help with things. Brad traveled for work a lot, so Morgan was often home alone with 2 little kids. Kyle would offer to help fix things or move heavy furniture or watch the kids for a bit while Morgan ran errands. I thought it was sweet that he was being a good brother-in-law already. For the past year and a half, I'd been working at an office downtown, about 30 minutes from where Kyle and I live. We had an apartment together, making plans for buying a house after the wedding. Kyle worked from his company's office most days, said he needed to be there for meetings and client calls. 3 months ago, my company announced we were going fully remote. They were closing the downtown office and everyone would work from home permanently. I was excited. No more commute, more flexibility, more time at home. Kyle and I talked about converting our spare bedroom into a proper home office for me. But while we were figuring that out, I'd work from our living room, which had a big window with a view of the street, and directly across the street, 3 houses down, was my sister, Morgan's house. I'd never really paid attention to her house from our apartment before. I was always at work during the day. But now, sitting at the dining table with my laptop, I could see her driveway clearly. My first week working from home, I noticed Kyle's car in Morgan's driveway one afternoon. I thought nothing of it. He'd probably stopped by to help her with something. The next day, his car was there again, around 10 in the morning, still there at noon, gone by 2. The third day, same thing. His car would show up around 9:30 or 10, stay for hours, leave in the early afternoon. I started paying more attention. Every single day that week, Kyle's car was at Morgan's house during work hours. Hours when he was supposed to be at his office. Hours when Morgan was supposedly home alone with her kids who were in daycare until 3. I asked Kyle casually one evening, "Hey, have you been stopping by Morgan's house this week?" He looked surprised. "No. Why?" "I thought I saw your car there a couple times." "Well, you probably saw Brad's car. Doesn't he have the same model as mine?" Brad's car was completely different. A truck, not a sedan. But I let it go. Maybe I was mistaken about which house. Maybe it was a neighbor's car. But the next day, I watched more carefully, and I was right. It was definitely Kyle's car. I could see his parking sticker from our complex on the windshield. I took a photo with my phone, zoomed in. It was absolutely his car. That night, I asked Morgan, "Hey, was Kyle at your house today?" She barely looked up from her phone. "No." "Why?" "I thought I saw his car there." "Must have been someone else's car. I've been home alone all day, just me and the boys." But the boys were in daycare. I knew their schedule. They didn't get home until 3. Something was very wrong. The next day, I watched from the window. Kyle left our apartment at 8:30, kissed me goodbye, said he had an early meeting. By 9:45, his car was in Morgan's driveway. I waited an hour, then called Morgan. "Hey, what you up to?" "Just cleaning. The boys made a huge mess this morning before daycare." "Why?" "Nothing. Just wanted to chat." "You home alone?" "Yeah. Brad's traveling until Thursday. Want me to come over later? Keep you company." "Can't today. I have a ton of errands to run this afternoon." "Okay. Talk later." I hung up and watched Kyle's car stay parked in her driveway for another 2 hours. She was lying. He was lying. And they were together. I felt sick. My fiancé and my sister. It couldn't be. There had to be another explanation. I thought about confronting them, but I needed proof. Real proof. Because if I was wrong, I'd destroy relationships over nothing. But if I was right, I needed to know for sure. I started documenting everything. Photos of his car at her house with timestamps. Every day for a week. He was there every single day, usually for 3 to 4 hours. I checked our shared location on our phones. Kyle had his turned off. Said he kept draining his battery, so he disabled location services. That had started about 3 months ago, right before I started working from home. I called his office one day, pretending to be a client. Asked if Kyle was available. The receptionist said he'd been working from home for the past few months, that most of the sales team was remote now. Working from home, not at the office, like he'd been telling me every morning when he left. So where was he working from home? Not our apartment. He was at my sister's house. I felt like I couldn't breathe. How long had this been going on? What were they doing there for hours every day? I needed to see for myself. The next day, Kyle left at his usual time. I watched his car pull into Morgan's driveway at 9:50. Then I got in my car and drove over there. I didn't park in front. I parked a block away and walked to her house. The front door was locked, but I had a key. She'd given me one years ago for emergencies. I quietly let myself in. I could hear voices upstairs, laughing, music playing softly. I walked up the stairs, my heart pounding. The sounds were coming from Morgan's bedroom. I pushed the door open. They were in bed together. My fiancé and my sister, naked, clearly having just been intimate. They were laughing about something, completely relaxed, like this was normal for them. Morgan saw me first. Her face went white. Taylor, oh my gosh. Kyla sat up, grabbing the sheet. This isn't what it looks like. I stood there, unable to move or speak. My sister, my fiancé, in bed together in the middle of the day while I was supposed to be working and they were supposed to be living their separate, honest lives. How long? I finally managed to say. They looked at each other. Morgan started crying. Taylor, I'm so sorry. We didn't mean for this to happen. How long? 6 months? Kyle said quietly. We've been seeing each other for 6 months? 6 months, half a year, while planning my wedding, while I was talking about bridesmaids and flowers and our future together. You're my sister, I said to Morgan. How could you? I don't know. It just happened. We got close, and then it became more, and I couldn't stop it. You couldn't stop it. You're adults. You made choices. Every single day for 6 months you chose to do this to me. Kyle tried to speak. Taylor, please, let us explain. Explain that you've been lying to me every single day, that you've been coming here to my sister's house while I'm working across the street. You're working from home. Morgan looked panicked. Since when? 3 weeks ago. And I've been watching his car show up here every single day. Kyle put his head in his hands. We didn't know. We thought you were still at your office downtown. So this was convenient? You've been having an affair 3 blocks from where I live because you thought I'd never find out? Neither of them had an answer. I looked at Morgan. Where are your kids? Daycare. They're always at daycare when Kyle comes over. So you planned this every day. Scheduled your affair around your children's daycare schedule. Taylor, please. Morgan was sobbing now. You have to understand. I love him. We love each other. You love him. He's engaged to me. I know. And that's why we've been trying to figure out what to do. We didn't want to hurt you, but we couldn't stay away from each other. Trying to figure out what to do. How about not sleeping with your sister's fiancé? That seems like an obvious solution. Kyle stood up, pulling on his pants. I was going to tell you. I was going to call off the wedding after the wedding. After you got to sleep with both of us as long as possible. No, I just needed the right time. This is complicated. It's not complicated. You're cheating on me with my sister. That's pretty straightforward. I left the room, left the house, got in my car, and just drove. I didn't know where I was going. I just needed to get away from them. When I finally calmed down enough to think, I realized something. 6 months. They'd been doing this for 6 months. That meant family dinners, holidays, my birthday, all while they were lying to my face. I called my mom, told her what I'd found. She was quiet for a long time. Mom, did you hear me? I heard you, honey, say something. Another long pause. Then, I know, What do you mean, I've known for a couple months, Morgan told me. She was feeling guilty and needed someone to talk to. I felt like I'd been slapped. You knew and you didn't tell me. I didn't know what to do. She's my daughter. You're my daughter. I didn't want to be in the middle. You are in the middle. You knew my sister was sleeping with my fiancé, and you said nothing. I was hoping they'd end it. I kept telling Morgan to stop. I thought she would. When were you hoping she'd stop? Before or after my wedding? My mom started crying. I'm sorry I didn't know how to handle this. I hung up on her. Then I called my dad. He answered cheerfully until I told him why I was calling. Oh, he said quietly. Oh, that's all you have to say. I found out last month, your mom told me. I've been furious at Morgan about it. But you didn't think to tell me. Your mother asked me not to. She said she'd handle it. And you listened to her. You let me keep planning a wedding to someone who's been screwing my sister. I thought you had a right to know, but your mother said it would devastate you, and maybe they'd end it before you found out. They weren't going to end it, Dad. I walked in on them today. In her bed. In the middle of the day. This isn't some fling. They're in love. My dad was quiet. I'm sorry, kiddo. I should have told you. I hung up and realized my entire family had been lying to me. Protecting Morgan and Kyle at my expense. Letting me plan a wedding while knowing it was based on a lie. I called my aunt, my mom's sister. She'd known for 3 weeks. My cousin had known for a month. My grandmother had suspected but didn't want to cause drama. Everyone knew. Everyone had been lying to protect Morgan and Kyle, and no one had protected me. I went back to the apartment. Kyle wasn't there. I packed his things into garbage bags and put them in the hallway. Changed the locks. Canceled the wedding venue. My phone was blowing up with calls from Morgan, from Kyle, from my mom. I ignored all of them. Finally, I answered when Morgan called for the 10th time. What do you want? I need to explain. Please, Taylor, you're my sister. I don't have a sister anymore. Don't say that. I made a mistake, but we can work through this. A mistake is forgetting the call on my birthday. This is 6 months of deliberate betrayal. I love you. You're my family. Family doesn't do this to each other. Family doesn't lie for months. Family doesn't help hide affairs. Mom and Dad were trying to protect everyone. They weren't trying to protect me. They were protecting you from consequences. What do you want me to say? That I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But I love Kyle. I can't just turn that off. You should have turned it off the moment you realized you were attracted to your sister's fiancé. That's when normal people with morals would have stopped. She was crying again. I know. You're right. But it's too late now. It's too late because you made it too late. You chose this. Every single day for 6 months, you chose this. So did Kyle. Morgan's voice got defensive. It's not all my fault. I never said it was. You're both equally disgusting. Kyle showed up at the apartment that night. I wouldn't let him in. He stood in the hallway begging me to talk to him. I told him through the door that the wedding was canceled and our relationship was over. He could pick up his stuff from the building's storage room. What about us? He asked. Everything we built? There is new. Uzair never was. You were building something with my sister while using me as cover. I do love you. Not enough. Not even close to enough. He finally left. I found out later he moved in with Morgan. They're together now, officially raising her kids, playing house. My family tried to reconcile. My mom showed up crying, begging forgiveness. My dad sent long texts about how he should have told me. My extended family sent cards and flowers, but they'd all made their choice. They'd chosen to protect Morgan and Kyle. They'd let me plan a wedding, pay deposits, send invitations, all while knowing it was a lie. I moved to a different city 2 months later, got a new job, started completely over, cut contact with my entire family. Morgan tried to reach out on what would have been my wedding day, sent a long message about how sorry she was, how she wished things were different, how she hoped one day I could forgive her. I never responded. My mom sends emails sometimes, updates about the family, about Morgan's kids, about holidays I'm missing, as if I care, as if those people are still my family. They're not. Family doesn't do what they did. It's been 8 months now. 8 months since I found them together. 8 months since my entire life imploded. I'm doing better. I'm in therapy. I'm dating again, though it's hard to trust anyone. I made new friends who don't know my family or my history. But there are moments when I miss my sister. Not the woman who betrayed me, But the little girl who used to protect me, the teenager who covered for me, the young woman who let me cry on her couch. I miss having a sister. I miss having a family, but I can't have those things with people who valued a 6-month affair over a lifetime of sisterhood. Sometimes people ask if I'll ever reconcile with them. I don't know. Right now the wound is too fresh, the betrayal too deep. Maybe someday I'll be able to forgive them, but I'll never forget what they did, and I'll never trust them again. So I want to ask you something. If your sibling had an affair with your partner and your family helped hide it, could you forgive them? Would you cut contact or try to work through it? And how do you learn to trust again after everyone you loved proved they couldn't be trusted? Because I'm still trying to figure that out. If you discovered your sibling was having an affair with your fiancé and your entire family knew and hid it from you, what would you do? Would you cut them all off or try to work through it? And could you ever forgive family members who chose to protect the people who betrayed you? I really want to hear your thoughts because I still don't know if I handled this the right way.